Moving along here, Hardrock MMA 96, Josh Rivera. Talk about last fight we had 20-year-old Bryant Haynes. This guy, Josh Rivera, 18 years old. 2-0. 2-0, one win by TKO.
Not working. Okay, there we go.
Last time we saw him was in November at Hardrock MMA 94, a win over Thomas Agru, and in his debut took out a really tough Four Seasons fighter in Eli Mefford. He's been impressive thus far. Just graduated high school last year. Now is in college, trains at E-Town Beatdown with Josh Johnson, Jeff Holmes, Cody Riggs. A lot of tough guys down there in E-Town.
The one fight, and I have been present for both of his fights thus far. The one fight that stands out to me was his debut, an absolute war against Eli Mefford. And obviously he followed that up with a victory, a technical knockout over Thomas Agru, who we saw earlier.
Shortlist for Fight of the Year. I don't think it was, I can't remember if it was actually nominated for the Bluegrass Amateur Fight of the Year, but it was up there.
Nonetheless, a very promising prospect in Josh Rivera.
Nygel Elliot representing Area 502. 24 years old, 3 wins and 2 losses, and that last loss was against Kellen Van Camp in 2016. And Kellen now, of course, the Hardrock MMA featherweight champion, so no shame in losing to an opponent like that. But the first Phil Perkins trained fighter on the card tonight, Area 502 out of Louisville.
It seems Area 502 always has some representation.
And when he wins, Nygel Elliot is definitely not a fighter who gets paid by the hour. Win via submission, guillotine choke in 37 seconds, a TKO in 1:30, and another TKO in 23 seconds.
You see the support from the Area 502 crowd. That's one of the gyms we have not mentioned here in the Louisville area yet. We see Brian Jackson, you know, everybody there from the 502 crew. You know, Alex Hacker's here, Danny Harris, everybody. A lot of support here locally for anybody who's representing that Area 502 gym.
Yeah, Louisville's one of the towns where there's just a ton of, I mean, of course, being the biggest city in Kentucky, but there's just a ton of gyms in the area. So many good fighters, and that's why you continue to see Hardrock cards in this area, Shepherdsville, Louisville. You know, even going down to you know, other, but there's always seems to be Louisville fighters on every Hardrock card.
Very interesting to hear a different perspective. Obviously, you don't live in Louisville,
right?
So it's interesting to hear your perspective. I'm in the heart of it, so I certainly agree.
There's not necessarily one gym that kind of rules the roost in Louisville. There's so many really good ones.
Yeah, Area 502 only has one guy on the card tonight. However, most of the time on this type of a card, they would have 4 or 5 fighters.
Yep.
So it just so happens they don't have as many tonight.
And his opponent fighting out of the B2 Digital Blue Corner, weighing in 148 pounds, representing Area 502 from Louisville, Kentucky, Nygel, the Hitman Elliot.
150-pound catchweight bout here at Hardrock MMA 96. Josh Rivera in the black and silver, Nygel Elliot in the blue. Third man in the cage with the ref cam on for this one is Rob Mooney. And one of the other things that stands out about Elliot, 6'2" at 145 pounds.
That's amazing. You know, our man Lance Lawrence earlier, 6 foot, 145. 6'2", that's an absolutely big 145 pounder.
Oh, catches the kick, does Elliot, and blasting with that left hand. Rivera on his back now. Immediately throwing those up kicks. And Elliot throwing some nasty kicks here. Rivera back to his feet.
You hear the corner of Elliot consisting of black belt Phil Perkins.
Both of these guys are really relaxed in there. That's the one thing that has struck me from Rivera in his first 2 fights is how calm he is in the cage. Left hook lands. And that combo from Rivera.
A lot of the striking advice coming from the corner of Elliot. From
Rivera also switching stances a lot, lands a left hand on that exchange.
Aaron Shekels shouting the striking instructions to Elliot.
Nygel, even though he's a really long guy, kind of fights a lot shorter than his length. You see him in tight, almost in kind of what they call a phone booth. Now you see him using that reach out there. Gets clipped with a right hand. You see him nodding. That usually means, yeah, you touched me. And Rivera with the clinch and some uppercuts. Rivera teeing off now. With Hayes has the clinch, but it's Rivera throwing the strikes. A minute left in this first round. Nice shots to the body there from Rivera. Knee there from Nygel Elliot. Now they separate. Tons of action thus far in this round. Rivera pressing the action here up against the cage. A lot of tie clinch thus far. Need the body there from Rivera. Elliot briefly looked for a takedown. Tough as the taller guy to get under your opponent to try to get this takedown. Need the thigh there from Elliot. 10 seconds left to go here in the first round. And Rivera, even with his back against the cage, is still throwing strikes.
Rivera with the attempted takedown. Elliot with the very savvy defense.
Rivera now looking for the takedown here, looking for the double leg. Nice slam there at the end of the round for Rivera, getting some points. Another knee to the body. Good first round there. Between these two guys, and that was a kind of a close round. I think that Rivera might have taken it just with that takedown right at the end. It was pretty close before that.
And in a lot of those tie clinches, Rivera did seem to manage to get some uppercuts, some shots in on Elliot.
And still, I mean, just the volume of strikes he throws. I think he's a guy that throws strikes in his sleep. He's throwing strikes from every angle. He had his back against the cage and was throwing.
You see Aaron Shekels and Phil Perkins talking to Elliot between rounds. What are you advising Elliot right now, David?
I think the biggest thing is you got to use your length and keep him on the outside, as you see some highlights there from the first round. Use your length and keep him on the outside, because when he gets inside, Rivera is landing those strikes. But Elliot, interestingly enough, loves that tie clinch and loves to get inside. But it might benefit him to stay a little bit more on the outside against the really aggressive Josh Rivera.
And when I say 90 seconds, they get the entire 90 seconds, baby.
Round number 2 here. Josh Rivera, Nygel Elliot. Now Elliot's starting to tee off a little bit. Getting a little bit of a firefight. Rivera taking one to give one. Leg kick lands. Rivera just stands in there in the pocket and just starts winging punches. And Elliot now starting to land here.
Elliot utilizing that reach advantage, and Rivera says, I'll take the single leg and try to get you to the ground.
Single leg now looking for that trip. Maybe looking to try to switch here to a high crotch takedown. Has his hands clasped. Elliot working some shots to the body here. Minute gone here in the second round.
You hear Aaron Shekels saying, work the body, the striking coach for Elliot, saying, work the body, strike the body.
There's some punches. Controlling that hand of Josh Rivera, too. That left hand. Rivera still looking for this takedown against the clinch.
Local crowd here chanting Nygel Elliott's name. A lot of support for Area 502.
Rivera trying to get that head on the inside to try to finish this takedown. Now,
Josh Johnson
releases and starts throwing.
Wow, what a fight.
And now Rivera really is throwing some heavy leather. Elliot, though, is doing a good job cutting off the cage and forcing Rivera to fight off of his back against the cage. Right hand to the body there. That looks like it hurt Rivera. Now Rivera may be hurt. Shekels calling for the body shots. They think that they hurt Josh Rivera. There's a leg kick there from Elliot.
Elliot does have the reach advantage.
Couple of right hands, knee to the body.
Wow.
Elliot really starting to work the body here now.
Some knees.
Couple of knees. Nice knee to the body there. Elliot, I'm not sure how Rivera is still standing after all this punishment he's taking. That's a nasty knee.
These knees are absolutely devastating.
Yeah, this one might be nearing the end here.
Only 10 seconds left in the round. Can Rivera survive?
Rivera dives in for that single.
Hat goes off to Rivera for getting out of that round. My
The
God.
corner of Nygel Elliot absolutely screaming at him. And Rivera not happy with his performance in that second round. I think it might be one round apiece at this point.
Sure. Certainly got to give that one to Elliot.
Especially with that last 45 seconds or so where he really started teeing off, especially with those knees.
What kind of prospect is somebody like Elliot if he can put this all together? He's from Area 502. You know he can grapple.
Yeah, I mean, definitely know he can grapple, and he's really showed off the striking here as well in this fight against a guy in Josh Rivera who has been really impressive at his striking in his first two fights.
On the other side of the cage, you're right. I mean, reminiscent of a legendary boxer who just gets his second win. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Rivera came out swinging, absolutely re-energized. I know that sounds insane after the way that round ended.
It's also a lot easier, 18 years old too. So.
Okay, yeah, it'd be a lot easier. I could do that if I couldn't.
The cardio is a lot different at 18 than.
Rivera's smiling over in his corner. This is amazing.
Yeah,
obviously Josh Johnson, the black belt, over there advising his fighter. What a fight. What a night of fights here at Hardrock MMA 96.
Yeah, in terms of actual fights, interesting thing is no huge names on this card, but the fights have absolutely delivered.
A lot of young guys. You said earlier,
young, hungry guys.
Brian Haynes and Josh Myers were on the main card, and they did not disappoint. This certainly is not disappointing. Feints a front kick.
Nygel Elliot really starting to work those body shots as Rivera just teeing off, throwing everything with bad intentions. That right hand landed for Elliot, left for Rivera, left hook for Hayes, and Rivera.
You got top level boxing coaching from the corner of Elliot out of Aaron Shekels, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's trying to utilize that reach advantage.
They're telling Elliot to throw the uppercut because Rivera was, at least in the beginning of this round, ducking his head and just kind of winging his punches, and that's when you can catch him with an uppercut. 2 minutes left in the fight. The fans come alive for the Area 502 fighter Nygel Elliot. Elliot continues to stalk. Nice kick and followed by a right hand. Throws a Superman punch. Left hook over the top there for Rivera lands. Minute and a half left to go. Elliot still stalking.
Didn't ask for much more of a important round in a 3-round fight. The remainder of this second half of the final round will determine the outcome.
And I think the other key too is that Elliot really starting to use his length and forcing Rivera to fight from the outside, and he has to try to wing punches. And it's a lot harder to be accurate when you're winging punches from the outside. That really is just a Nygel Elliot kind of finding his range after that first round, and he's found it and kept it. And that's that boxing coaching of Aaron Shekels at Area 502.
Very impressed with the ability to stay in this fight from Rivera. He took some brutal knees in that second round.
Yeah,
and he is still in there throwing.
Yeah. I mean, he's the guy that's not going to give up in a fight.
And he actually looks all right.
Yeah, still switching stances.
His hair looks good.
They checked that in between rounds, I think.
I assume so.
Elliot now teeing off again, using this last 20 seconds, just like he did in the first round, to start to dish out some punishment. Rivera still coming forward, but Nygel Elliot having none of it. Great fight.
What a war.
Man, I feel like every fight after fight we keep saying, that's the fight of the night. No, that's the fight of the night. Oh my goodness.
We buttered our crowd up with 4 stoppages to start the night in the first round. Since then, like you said, it's almost been compounding.
Yeah, every fight has been getting better and better. I think that Nygel Elliot might have done enough to take this fight home, winning the second and third round.
Rivera not conceding the fight to Elliot. Certainly shouldn't. Who knows what's going to happen? Brandon Hardrock Higdon giving the Fight of the Night trophies out right now.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll get anybody in this building complaining about that. Regardless of who wins this, these guys are both warriors.
I think you could have just thrown a dart at this fight card and picked the fight of the night, but that one's definitely deserving.
All 3 judges scored about 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, the blue corner,
Nygel Elliot coming back after losing that first round, winning rounds 2 and 3. Great performance, moving up to 4 and 2. The Area 502 fighter, Phil Perkins, getting the fans pumped up in the crowd. Did you hear the 502 chants?
502 has a large contingency here tonight.
Well, they had a short drive.
Very animated crowd across the board.
Very animated crowd. Nygel Elliot